Hey, welcome everyone. This is Virginia Parsons, your Hangout mentor and the host of the Inspirational Business Women show, where you know it is my passion and my purpose to provide you, the viewer, with a goldmine of entrepreneurial tips, strategies, and advice to help you grow your business from inspirational business women in the know. And I want to thank you for being here today because I know your time's valuable. And so I really want to make this show something of value to you so that you can learn from my guests and pick up their tips and their strategies and go apply it in your own business. So thank you so much for being here. I'd love it if you'd let us know where you're hanging out from. I'm personally hanging out from Reno, Nevada, and I'm looking forward to finding out where you're all hanging out from. I know we've got an international audience of both women and men, and I want to thank you for being here. So go ahead and write where you're hanging out from in the comments section. Now, today's show is sponsored by hangout-marketing.com, where you can receive a free Hangout marketing assessment. And that assessment is going to measure your skill set and your knowledge base in using Hangouts on air to brand, grow, and market your business. All you need to do to take advantage of that assessment is pick up your phone. Pick up your phone and text the word success, SUCCESS, to 307-269-2040. And if you're out of the country, you can also just go directly to hangout-marketing.com where you can take the assessment there. It will only take you a couple minutes, and you might even qualify for a free strategy session with me where we'll sit down and talk about your business and really strategize how you can use Hangouts to brand, grow, and market your business. So go ahead and take advantage of that, won't you? All right, I'm looking forward to introducing our guest today. She is none other than Melanie Hall. She is the CEO of Big Uptick Social Marketing. I love that name, Big Uptick. Yes, and so she's going to talk about, let's get technical. You know, and I created the title for this show. It was thinking about Olivia Newton-John, let's get physical. And you know, getting physical back then wasn't so much fun, but she made it fun. Well, that's what Melanie's going to do for us today. She's going to talk about going from tech challenged to tech savvy and having fun with technology. We're going to talk about discovering 2 simple computer skills that you need first to get yourself going. Then we're going to talk about 3 easy tips to prevent technology intimidation. I think we've all had that, and so I know this will be of help to everyone. And then finally, how about staying focused on your desired results? She's got a couple of ways to really help us do that. And I'm going to have Melanie come on in and say hi to the audience and tell us a little bit more about herself. So come on in, Melanie, and say hi to everyone.
Hello, everyone. And Virginia, I should be interviewing you. Everyone, did you see all that techie stuff she had going on? And she even has the app where you can text that message to her. That's tech for you. I applaud you, Virginia.
Hey, by the way, you should all know that I do have an app as well. If you do not want to miss these shows, you can also download my free app. You let me into that one, Melanie.
Wow.
You can find it at the iTunes stores or at Google Play Store and just search Hangout Mentor. And I have an app that you can download for free, and you will get these shows that they'll just come up for you and you can watch them at your convenience. So take advantage of that too. I'm getting techie here.
You're not kidding. You are not kidding. Oh my gosh. This is really an honor to be here with you. It really is.
Well, I love it. I mean, I just found out that you've been doing 2 shows. You've got the show Lights, Camera, HOA that you do. As a matter of fact, she's going to be going on to her own show right after this one. So we have to be efficient here. But you also did another one called Women in Business Today. You said you did that one for a year. And I wasn't aware of that one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your background and how you came to, you know, really embrace technology rather than be intimidated by it.
Well, my family, they were all girls. My parents had no sons, but my dad liked technical stuff. He had the CB. He was, you know, he built things. So I was always around wires and batteries. And though I didn't touch any wires, I'm terrified of wires because I've seen the bad side of what happens when you know, the yellow is not connected to the yellow. And back then they really weren't color coded. But so I played around a lot as a kid with CBs, you know, the ham radios, where, you know, we could talk to people anywhere who had one. So I knew that that's where my little love for technology started, because at that same time I admired Barbara Walters, and I thought if I could become her when she's ready to leave the air, because I wanted to be like a major anchor woman, I said if I time it just right, I'll be ready when she goes. And my timing was right, but it didn't happen that way. And
I'm so sorry, but what you're doing is great.
it's real close. It's real close. You know, I'm living like the sideline of a Barbara Walters, I guess, because I'm using Hangout on Air and Hangouts on Air and experimenting with the crowdcast and everything. But I think the most, even though technology never intimidated me prior to computers, when computers came out, I was so skeptical, because I've seen a lot of things come and go. And my husband still laughs at me, because when he wanted to purchase a computer for our family, I said, well, you can, but I'm never going to use it. And I said, you can go right ahead. I'm not going to ever be on that thing. Well, the funny thing was is he got this computer, and then he went to work, and he said, have this ready by the time I get home. I'm like, oh yeah, right. He said, no, you can do, you know how to read tech manuals. You know, just read the manual and set it up. So I knew I had all day to do that, and so I was reading the manual, and I just, you know, and there was no Google or anything to look up term. I mean, it was an all-day thing, and you had to put the big floppy disk thing in the slot and turn it over at different parts and download and upload. And when I did that, it worked by the time he got back, and he was amazed, because I guess he'd won a bet that I would not even bother touching it. So he always uses that. He said, do you remember you said you'd never be on that thing, and now you can't get yourself off of it? So that was, had I not had the nerve, I would say nerve to do it, I probably would still be far behind than where I am right now, with not being afraid of technology. And then my degree is really tech heavy as well, with logistics and supply chain management. And I was always mistaken, as the instructor, you know, because I was an older student, I was always mistaken as the instructor for every one of my classes except my technical classes, and that angered me, you know, because I said, so I can be mistaken as your business English instructor or your algebra teacher, but when I enter the statistics course, nobody, because I'm like the only woman in the course, you know, the field was just all men, and it just, you know, I'm like, oh, angered me, because I didn't have another woman to hear me whine about my courses.
Well, let me say a few things here. First of all, you said, you used the term, I had the guts to go in and delve into something I thought was never going to work and was stupid to have in the house. And of course, you know, you're dating yourself when you say, oh, computers are not going to work. But so am I. And then to imagine life learning something without Google. You know, think back, Google has not been with us that many years. You actually had to read a manual, and manuals came with devices. Manuals don't even come with devices anymore, because you have to go online to get the manual, don't you?
It was like the, you know, when you go to IKEA, have you ever built a piece of furniture through IKEA?
Not from IKEA, but I have built furniture, yes.
Oh, well, IKEA is the ultimate manual, because it's not written in any language, it's just pictorial. So, so it can be global. So it doesn't have to print anything in English or Dutch or French or anything. So so that's how I felt. If you ever built IKEA furniture and you look at the manual how to put together and there's no words, and you're like, okay, did they not include the right material for me? That's how I felt when I had to open that manual for that computer, and it was like 89 or 90 pages to do this thing. I'm like, holy cow! Can't I just like plug it in and it works?
Yeah. And the floppy disks, I remember those only too well. So we have all come a long way. Those of you who have been around a while, like Melanie and I have, you can think back to the advancements over the last 20 years. It's really pretty phenomenal when you think that the internet's only been around since what, the mid 80s, 90s?
Yeah.
Mid 90s, I think, right?
I won't tell you what year it was.
All I know is it's not 20 years, right? So
yeah, then I'd really date myself if I pinpoint it down, but I could tell you the actual date because it was a summer. I won't tell you the year though, but it was a summer. It was a summer, and the kids were home from, on summer break, and I had to, I was challenged to put this thing together while they were coming in saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Like, I don't know. Go play.
Well, I want to take a quick break before we get into our hot topics. Say hi to Ron Snaberger from Jupiter, Florida. We've got Roland here from Southern California, Orange County. Richard Wright from Glendale, Maryland. Lynn Sanders from Winnetka. Welcome, everyone. We just really appreciate your being here. Daniel Veras from Recife, Brazil. Hi, Daniel. That's great. And okay, so far, those are our comments. Keep them coming. Put your questions in for Melanie as well. And let's get started with topic number 1. Discover 2 simple computer skills you need first. All right, I'm waiting to hear what those are so we can make sure we can check those off our list.
Well, the obvious one is learn how to click on things. Don't be afraid of the click. Just click. Where it says click, put your mouse, use it and click. You're not going to break anything. Those days are gone. I mean, as hard as I tried, I couldn't break it. So now they're really unbreakable. So don't be afraid to navigate. So navigation is a thing. And then the second biggest thing is learn how to learn the back end of your computer to save your work and organize your things in folders like a filing cabinet. Just like you organize things in your kitchen or your garage. Things belong in that drawer, things belong in that drawer so you can find them. Otherwise, it's like looking in a hoarder's home and trying to locate that one spoon. You won't find it. So if you can get used to the idea of every time you work on your computer and you're creating something, save it properly and have it make sense to you. And those are the 2 things, navigation and saving properly.
Okay, well, that's really important. Navigation for sure, I can agree with. Now, I remember the first time I got on, the first computer I owned was an Apple Macintosh. Now I'm a PC gal, but boy, in the beginning I was all Apple. And I remember being afraid that if I hit the wrong button, the computer would blow up or explode or shut down or something crazy like that. Well, obviously, it could have from some of the things we did back then. But yeah, if you're afraid, don't be afraid to go click and look and explore. I remember the first time I even did that on the internet, I got, I call it going down a rabbit hole. You can go way down when you're looking for things on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But we have the ability to, save them on our favorites now. And again, even on the internet, if you're looking for something and you organize your favorites folders, oh my goodness, there's sometimes I wondered, where did I put that?
Mm-hmm.
Now that I've saved it, and it's because I wasn't organized in saving. So do you have any tips about that organizational process, just to go a little deeper with that comment?
Yeah, the system, our devices, our systems are so user friendly. They're meant to have us retrieve what we want quickly, and you just have to use those tools. You know, some people call it bookmarking, some people just call it caching, some people just call it saving, you know, putting it up in the little bar thing at the tippy. See, I don't even know the technical terms. I just call it the bar at the tippy top.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tippy top bar. That one. But there's way, you know, every device now and computer now has such an easy way to retrieve quickly, and you just have to know what those tools, you know, use those tools and have them make sense to you. You know, you can organize and channel down as much as you want or as broad as you want, but and from time to time clean those out. Like you know, when I was in coursework, you know, I had channeled down very, very well. Well, I don't need that anymore, so there's time to dump those. And then, you know, so you don't have to save everything. Like, you know, when's the first time you lost your tooth as a child? You don't need to save that stuff unless you want to. But then file it properly under tooth, age.
Got it.
Have your little folders. You know, mouth,
sort of like,
tooth, age, tooth fairy, whatever.
yeah, so it's sort of like getting your keywords in order, the keywords that make sense to you, and then knowing you can always search for those keywords to find things as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Good. All right, well, Roland, let me bring this up. He's got a question for you, so let's bring this up so you can address it. How important is the Microsoft Word suite for today's online success? Do you have an opinion on that, Melanie?
Well, because that's a brand, and you're going to have Apple lovers versus Microsoft lovers, and so the Apple people right now saying, I don't use Microsoft products. But if you use Microsoft products, you should use, yes, the suite is very helpful, because then you've got your spreadsheets, your documents, the photos, you know, everything is then you're not switching system to system.
And
you know,
I would
because
say
terminology is different in both in both brands. It's different.
Of course, and now I'm because I'm, you know, now really a PC gal, and of course, you know, I'm a PC gal because I'm also using XSplit, which is only runs on PC for this show. So, you know, I love it from that standpoint as well. But I use Microsoft Office, I think it's called 365, which I just do an annual renewal of every year. It's like $99 a year, and so it'll go onto any computer. Actually, I can put it on 5 computers, and it updates. So I've got the latest version of all the everything to do with Office, not just Word, but, you know, all the different programs, Publisher and PowerPoint and Excel and all of those. So I find it very important for my business personally, although, you know, if you get good at Google Docs, there's an awful lot available to you right there as well.
Yeah, and the navigation is very similar. Not exact, but again, you won't need, you know, how many bells and whistles do you need, really? You know, if you want to put together a simple spreadsheet, you can still do that on, you know, the Google Docs, the Google spreadsheets, just as well as you can on the Microsoft Excel. But if you want all the bells and whistles, then use Microsoft Excel or something similar.
Exactly. All right, well, let's move on. How about some tips to prevent technology intimidation? Because I know there's just so many people that are held back from really having the success that they want because they just feel sort of overwhelmed and intimidated by all the things they think they have to learn to run a good business. And so how can you help them with that so that they don't have to feel that intimidation?
Get familiar with the terminology. You know, it's like right now, if you picked up a manual on dentistry, it's going to be so foreign to you unless you're in that industry. But I can promise you, if you look up the terminology, get very familiar with that, you know, the terms of dentistry, you're gonna feel like you can go clean somebody's teeth tomorrow, because you know that there's like 32 teeth. You know what those are. Each one has a different name. You're going to know it. So it's the same philosophy with technology. If you read an article or a blog and it's, technical, instead of like clicking off like, no, I need to dummy it down. You don't need to dummy it down. You dummy up. You smart up. Smart up. Don't dummy down. Use Google, use some search engine to look up what the terminology they're using, and then it's going to make sense to you, so that when they say, all these acronyms we have, like, well, the UI and the EOU and the ABC and the DEF, when they start talking like that, you're going to not know what that means. But until you do, you have to spend some time to understand that terminology, because that's intimidating right away. I used to be a contractor for the Air Force, and military acronyms, they're the stinkiest in the world. The stinkiest, I'm telling you, because they're like 10, 12 letters long. And it's like, can you just call it the tippy top bar? You know what I mean? Why does it have this long name? But, to have that job, I had to learn what those acronyms are. So it's the same thing with what we're doing in our business. If your business, your industry uses certain terminology, learn what it is so that it doesn't scare you. You don't have that, that feared rabbit look like, oh, an acronym I don't quite remember. Just learn the words.
Well, I think that really makes sense. And you said something that I want to reemphasize, that everyone, I think, should really put deep in your brain, and that is, stop thinking about dummying down. Think about smarting up.
Mm-hmm.
Get familiar with what you need to know about a topic that is integral to your business, and smarten up about it. And yes, there's no better place to do that anymore than to do searches, and you can learn about the answers to anything. I just ask questions of Google anymore if I don't know. And people even ask me, so did you Google it? Which has now become a verb, hasn't it? Google it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and nowadays you can even, like, if you're trying to figure out the percentage of something, like, oh, I want to give a 43% discount on whatever, you can just say into your phone, what is 43% off of 200? And it tells you, just asking the question. You don't have to, like, okay, where do I put the divider? Do I multiply that? Do I divide that? What do I do? You don't have to, I mean, you should know how to do it. But I mean, if you're like in a really hurry, you can ask that thing anything, and it will tell you.
I'd call that kind of a combination of smarting up as you dummy down, because you're making it, any dummy can pick up their phone and say, okay, Google, and then ask Google the question, mm-hmm. and get the answer that you need. So that's being smart. That's an efficient use of your time. Yes. And at the same time, dumbing it down from the standpoint of, I do not have to go figure this out myself. I do not have to go do a ton of research on this. I just have to ask the question. So I guess I would add that as a tip for you on mm-hmm. preventing technology intimidation. Don't be afraid to ask the question.
Yeah, and know that if you can get the end, here's my rule of thumb. If I cannot retrieve the answer myself in 10 minutes, then I've got to get it from somebody else. 10 minutes is all I will give a lot of stuff, because I know that somebody else already has the answer. If I need to research something in depth because I've got to create the report or whatever, then that's a different thing. But I took algebra, but I don't want to do it all again. I don't like it. I'm not thrilled with it. And Google can give me the answers so much faster.
Yeah, I love that. Well, let me share with you a few more comments we have coming in here that I think you'll find fun. Here's one from Roland. My first experience on computer was pre-online Commodore 64 and a game called Zork, which was text only. And my dad had a Commodore 64, Roland, and it was like, wasn't that one of the first computers that was ever produced? It's probably worth some money now. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, yes, and the black screen with the green text.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Slash and colon slash backslash. Oh my gosh.
And here, we've got this from Cheryl. Welcome, Cheryl. All kinds of tools and gadgets, different strokes for different folks, lots of choices for anyone using social media. Well, now let's bring that up a little bit about social media. How about preventing intimidation with all the different social media avenues that are available to people?
Try one, and if you feel comfortable, try two, but don't do more than 3 at a time. You know, because you don't want to be what is it, master, what is it, jack of all trades, master of none.
Right.
So just grab 3 that will be useful to you. So if one of those social media platforms is Pinterest, learn it and use it. Where like myself, I know it, but I don't use it because that's not really what my business does. You know, and I'm right now, Meerkat is new. I'm learning that. I don't know how I will use it, but I'm definitely looking at it every day. Lurking, I think is the word. Periscope, I'll dive into that in probably about 6 weeks, because I don't want to get the two mixed up. You know, I want to learn one and then the other. And then if I find those helpful, I'll use them. And then maybe I'll drop one, because I'm not the one I'm not in any way going to use 30 different platforms because I don't have time.
Right. Well, and you're looking at platforms that are video oriented. So you're looking at both Meerkat and Periscope. I know Periscope's the Twitter version of live streaming. Meerkat, I'm not from. Oh, I've heard of Meerkat, but I've just not experienced it yet. So.
Yeah, I think it's still a Twitter thing. It came out first. It's like Meerkat was like the firstborn, and then the secondborn came up and shoved him out of the way. So Meerkat is trying to, like, remember me, I was here first. I'm better. I'm the firstborn. I have rights. And then the secondborn is like, yeah, but I'm more. It's just a sibling rivalry thing. That's how I look at those two.
Oh gosh, as time flies, every time I have a show, I think, how can I do this in 30 minutes and keep giving people valuable information? Thank you for sharing what you have. Let's get to that last point, and that is 2 ways to stay focused on your desired results.
If you have a goal, you have to have a purpose. Like, what do you want? What is the key purpose? Are you to help people, or are people to help you? Are you to grow something, or are they to grow you? So when you determine the purpose, then you can easily focus. The saying is, if you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up anywhere.
Good
so
point.
You kind of have to know where you're going. Otherwise, it's just, spin you around with a blindfold, and then they take the blindfold off and they say, walk forward. and that may be adventurous, but not when you're trying to run a business and be profitable. So know what direction you're going and recognize the obstacles, but keep that purpose, whatever that purpose is.
Well, I like that because I actually have, I talk to people about, making a connection with your camera when you're doing a hangout, how important it is, because that really is your connection to your audience. And right behind my camera, I have a vision, I call it a vision board. It's a vision image that I created, which is a collage of things that's right behind me. And, one of the things on it is, what is your desired outcome? It's always there reminding me, what is my intention? And I use that all the time to say, am I on track with what I'm doing? Is this really what I intend to be getting? Or am I off down a rabbit hole, so to speak, and it's not going to get me where I want to go? So that's right there in front of me, along with a lot of other good ones. Like, being in business is intended to actually provide you with an income. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And business is not intended to just be for play, although if you can make business playful and profitable at the same time, I think that's the best desired outcome of all. And that's sort of how I feel about this, doing this and doing the show. It's because it is a wonderful way to help other people, and I can have fun with it at the same time. So what else as far as focus is concerned?
Well, I'm kind of living that Barbara Walters dream originally, when you think about it, because I am on camera and I get to interview people, interesting people, and I get to ask a question, they get to answer on my HOA shows. When I tutor, when I was a help outs provider you know, I could do tutorials on live streaming like this. So I'm kind of living that Barbara Walters dream. And I also had that vision of, you know, I always thought I will always have a job if I am a professor, because they, you know, you can be a professor if you're 101, you can still breathe and you're cognizant. So, you know, and that's the teaching part. So I'm kind of, my focus, I'm kind of living it now, but kind of like, you know, in a odd kind of way. But it's my place. You know, it's my place where I feel very, very comfortable. And so I'm happy that I am living in a time where the technology is there to help me get to where I want to go. And technology is the way to do it. You know, had I lived during Henry Ford's time, had I been his neighbor, and he said, why don't you give up that horse and do this, I would have laughed and said, there is no way. I love my horse. I love my horse. But I'm wiser now. So now I would, you know, now I look at technology and say, yeah, I want to get on that, because I'm going to get where I want to go faster and easier, because we have very smart people building this stuff for us.
Yeah, so to sum everything up, and then by the way, you all know we're going to have an after show, although we can't make it a long one because Melanie has another show to get to.
I'm going to be Barbara Walters in a little bit.
But just to sum everything up about letting go of intimidation with technology, going from tech challenge to tech savvy, what's one big final tip you want to share with people, number one? And number two, while I go ahead and post the link to the after show, please tell people how they can get more information from you.
Okay. The intimidation part, don't take it personally. As you try any technology, it has no feelings. It has no emotion. It's not going to laugh at you. It's not going to make fun of you. It's not going to tell people how badly you are. Like, you know, wow, look at her. It's taken her 20 times to learn this. There's no personality to it. You are in control of it. So depersonalize that technology. It's you know, it will not intimidate you like a person can. It can't. So it never will. Even artificial intelligence, you're smarter than it is because somebody has a program that in the first place. And you know what? Because my mother spelled my name so differently, if you learn to spell my name correctly, you'll always find me in a Google search, because there's only 3 Melanie Halls spelled exactly that way. So, as I always complained about, why did you spell it so differently? It benefits. So rather than blurt off, you know, big uptick social marketing and Twitter and all this, just type in Melony, which is M-E-L-O-N-E-Y, Hall, and I'm the one that you'll see on, you know, videos. The other two don't do it. They're doctors and like a chemist, I think, so they don't do this.
Well, I have to share this before we go and stop the broadcast, but come on into the after show, what Lynn just said. Thanks for your thoughtful sharing, Melanie Hall, spelled with an E. And you don't have to be Barbara Walters. You are a very special person.
Yay! Oh, that's so... I'm going to tell Barbara that myself.
There you go. Well, I want to thank you, Melanie, for taking the time to be here with your busy schedule and sharing these tips. And I think, as you say, the bottom line is don't be intimidated. It's not personal. Don't take technology personally. Just go out and start playing with it, and you will be surprised how quickly you can, excuse me, overcome your intimidation and feel comfortable and natural picking up all these tools, because there are great tools out there for all of us to learn. Mm-hmm. And the other thing I think is great about your other show is that that's part of what you're doing, is you're helping people have a safe place to come and practice. So if you want to learn more about that, check out her show right after this, which is Lights, Camera, and HOA.
Yeah, Lights, Camera, HOA. Yeah. Thank you so much, Virginia. This has been such a pleasure. And you know what? I can't do all that XSplit stuff you're doing. I mean, oh my gosh, you guys. Did you see that beginning? Go look at that intro again. Amazing.
Thanks, Melanie. It's been great.
You're welcome. Thank
Great fun.
you.
I'm going to sign off now, and we'll see you next week on the Inspirational Business Women Show. Have a terrific week. And if you have time, just stop into the after show and say hi to Melanie for a few minutes. And myself, of course. I love to meet all of you. Thank you. Take care. Have a great week. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.